By the way, what is inside Cuphead? Milk? Well, this is it. Welcome to Scribble Kibble, a show about animation. So, in terms of animation, it's kind of impossible to ignore this game right now because it is extremely popular, and it features a style of animation that hasn't been around since maybe 1930. It's called rubber hose animation, and it's because the characters are all rubbery. I mean, I can show you some of the animations later, but yeah, the characters don't really have any joints. They're just rubbery limbs, and the way they move is a bit different. So let's find out how true the game is to that old style of animation in the 1920s and 30s. I wasn't expecting a storybook intro, but that's what we're gonna get. I should also mention this game is multiplayer, but only locally, so you have to have the person with you in the room. You have to be playing on the same computer. I'm definitely not going to play the game all the way through, because I want to play this multiplayer. It's going to be really fun experiencing all the bosses for the first time. So I think I'll just play through World 1 and talk a little bit about the animation. Just look at it. Look at the little animation cycle here. And that's the thing about the style of rubber hose animation, is the characters can't really sit still. They always have to be bouncing around. Nope, can't sit still. Can't do it. But the other thing is that the way they're animated isn't the way modern 2D animations are animated. The principles of rubber hose animation are a little bit different. For example, if you take a look at any of the cartoons, they're extremely smooth. It's actually kind of bizarre. The background's a piece of paper. Well, it would be great if I could get over this post here. This is embarrassing. Maybe I'll just cut this part out. The interesting thing is, rubber hose animation was popular mostly in black and white, and once things started going over to color, that's when Disney showed up and started going more towards, I guess, realistic acting. Oh boy, even the music is accurate to the time period. This is rough. This game's kind of tough. It's so much like watching one of those old cartoons I watched when I was a kid. It's just so much like that, I can't get over it. And the animation is just so fascinating. All of the enemies and everything, they just look exactly like the cartoons did. It's blowing my mind. I wonder what it must be like to play this if you've never watched any of the old cartoons. Because when I was a kid, I had the VHS tapes of some of these black and white cartoons. And we'd watch them on a VHS player when we went up to our cabin on the lake. Yeah, I'm legitimately enjoying myself. I can see why this game is so popular. Look at that. See that jitter on the character, on that boss character right there? That's something that, here, look. Here it is in a Betty Boop cartoon. Now, the one thing that you don't see here is the screen. Is the screen moving around? This is not an easy game to talk over. Jeez, because in any of the old rubber hose cartoons, they're animating it on paper, and they're shooting it with a camera. And okay, so you saw on Pork Rind's teeth there, that is how they drew mouths too. So really the only difference is that it's in color, which when this animation style was at the height of its popularity, cartoons were still black and white. Now you still do see the influence of the animation style on color cartoons that come after it, maybe up to the 60s and stuff. But really, like I said earlier, Walt Disney, when they started doing movies that had more realism to it, and that's when the rubber hose animation style kind of disappeared, and you don't see it anymore at all, really. Anyway, but the one thing you'll notice about the style is if they do have arms that aren't just completely rubber limbs, their elbows have little nubs on the ends of them. And sometimes even when they have the loopy arms, the rubbery hose arms, when they're bent, you see that little elbow piece. And then the other thing is the eyes. The eyes are always just black dots, and they have that little notch in them. Sometimes. In the very beginning of this style coming around, they didn't. They were just plain old black dots. This game is a lot of fun. Okay, this little steamboat. Look at the cute little fish down there. Aww. What did I get hit by? Her laugh? I got hit by her laugh! What kind of nonsense is that? Oh my gosh. So, it's not like you can really spoil the game because all of it is just fighting different bosses. As far as I've seen anyway. Everything about the game is meant to have that old style feel to it. So, they didn't overlook anything. They didn't overlook the text, they didn't overlook the you lose screens, they didn't overlook the music, and they've even overlaid this old film style texture on top of everything. You can see the background flickering and all that. So that's meant to mimic the old camera, like the dust specks and things that would get behind the lens or in front of the lens and on the animation papers. So, like I said earlier, the only thing we're not getting is the camera shake, which you don't want because it's a video game, and if the camera were shaking on top of all this other stuff going on, it would make it more difficult to play but not add anything. And then it's great because once you get to the stage of the boss that you couldn't get to before, it's a big surprise. And like this character morphs like crazy. So look at how her arms are long little noodles. That's indicative of the style. And then that super smoothness of the transformation is also a trademark of the rubber hose animation. Wonder if it's like every other video game where the worlds get increasingly more annoying as time goes on. You always start out in the nice, pretty, grassy level, and then by the end of the game, everything's ugly and gross. But I have a feeling this one will be pretty cool. I think this final stage will probably be hell or something. Yay! Alright, I'm going to play a bit more and see if there's anything else to talk about. Oh, look at the legs on the bottom of the frog! What's wrong with them? Oh, he's just doing the jitters to get ready to fight. I get it. Okay. Gotta get those wiggly, jiggery legs to be able to fight. Of course, see, there's those rubbery arms floating around and the eyelashes and the lipstick on the mouth. I can't get over this rubber sound effect. It's like a squeaky rubber thing. So that's a look into Cuphead, some of the animation in the game, and the old rubber hose animation style, so-called because it looks like a hose and it moves like rubber. So, if you want to take a look at the game, I'll link it below. But the other thing is that the creators of this game have done quite a few interviews about how they animated this and all that other stuff, which I didn't look into before playing the game because I like to play these games spoiler-free. So, if you want to take a look into any of those interviews, I'll link them all below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time here on Scribble Kibble.
I'm Mr. King Dice, I'm the gamest in the land. I never play nice, I'm the devil's right-hand man. I can't let you pass, cause you ain't done everything. Bring me those contracts, come on, bring them to the king. If you haven't finished your task, haven't worked assiduously, no, I cannot let you pass. Don't you mess with me. Don't mess with King Dice.